Alec Carrington
Michael Leedy, hey everybody.
and we are live for the live Rainbow Millionaires Hangout, and today's topic is going to be breakthroughs. So it's a very interesting topic that I think me and Michael both have different opinions on, and you probably have your own opinion as well. So feel free to comment below if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. I think I'm just going to check and make sure we are live. So we are live right now. So comment below if sound is okay. Comment below if Let me just sorry guys. Let me just tell everyone to refresh their screen and press play.
Can you hear me okay, Rosella? I didn't plug in my microphone today, so I'm curious how it sounds.
Yeah, you sound great to me.
Okay.
Um, and okay, so
Can you
yeah,
send
comment.
me to that page, the one you're looking at, so I don't have
Yeah.
to go find it? I know it's in there, but I want to dig around to find it. For all of you who are watching, I want to actually, because I want to be able to look at the comments that come in and whatnot, just in case, like, if Rosella was talking, then I can comment, or, it's like, it's nice to be on the same thread.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all what is it called? There's a feed, so no matter whose page you're on, you should be good to go.
The same comments, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm just on
I know where it's at. I know. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
I got it
Cool.
because
Well,
you sent it to me.
all right. So let me just yeah. So we are good to go. Looks like
Oh.
just one last little housekeeping, and then we should be good to go. So yeah, if you guys have any comments, throughout this hangout, feel free to ask away, and maybe you can give us your own maybe personal story of a breakthrough. We'll be more than happy to read it out loud if you want us to, of course. But other than that, we can go ahead and get started on breakthroughs because it's really important to accept, it's going to happen. We're all going to have breakthroughs, breakdowns. What does it mean for ourselves and our journey, and how can we, overcome? If it's a breakdown, how can we overcome it? If it's a breakthrough, how do we just, keep pushing forward, even though, we think we reached a certain spot in our life or a certain plateau? How do we keep going? So, Michael, if you want, you can start off with your thoughts on, a breakthrough, maybe give us an example, or how you had your first breakthrough, or that you can at least recall. So I'll let you start off on that.
Well, first let's start off. The whole point of our hangouts here, which is,
Okay.
I think, the point of this is that there's a lot of people out there and they're doing things that they don't necessarily want to be doing, but that's what they know, so that's what they do because they're comfortable and they feel kind of stuck, and they don't want to go work for somebody else or switch, step sideways. Like, we're talking to you. If this is you and you are frustrated or stuck, or you're looking for a change and you're not sure how to do it, we're here to tell you our experiences, what changes we've gone through, and how we've helped others to do this as well. We work with different systems. We do market online. We work together here, but not necessarily with the same products. But we're not selling anything. That's not the point of this. What we're doing is presenting ideas and concepts that you can take what you like, keep what you resonate with, what resonates with you, and use it to grow yourself, the reality that you're interested in. Does that sound good, Rosella?
Yeah, that was perfect, actually. I'm glad you said that because I forgot to say that. What's the point of us doing live hangouts? And why do we call it rainbows? Because rainbows because everyone's accepted, everyone's welcome to be a part of this, and millionaires because we're all striving to be some type of millionaire. If it's in life with money, monetary, if it's in life with happiness, wealth and being rich is a definition, and you define that. So thank you, Michael, for telling everyone why we were here. I always forget to do that. That's why I have you.
Go ahead.
So go ahead. But other than that, that was perfect. So I want to hear, your thoughts. We just before we started recording, we were on like a good roll. We were talking about breakthroughs, and our different. We have a little bit of a different opinion, but it probably will lead back into the same common goal. But we'll see. We'll see.
Same story, different day. Let's see how it goes. So breakthroughs. Okay, so that means you realize something. It's like an aha moment, a laser beam through the forehead type thing. You just realize something, and you, so to speak, wake up. It's like, oh wow, yeah, this makes sense to me. So that's a breakthrough. Okay, but how do you have those moments? A lot of times, gosh. It takes different things. For example, and it comes in different forms. For example, the first breakthrough I had was after a breakdown. I was feeling stuck. I didn't like my job. My clients made me want to jump off the roof. There was always problems. And I'm not even kidding, that was my everyday.
I know. That's why I laughed.
I sign around my left. Thank you, so-and-so. And then just like having me dead on the ground with that sign around my neck, like with that person's name on it. No, really, I'm serious. So because I was like so stressed out because whatever. But you can get the idea of the frustration that I was dealing with, how angry I was that I had to basically solve everybody's problems when they were never my problems, but they turned into my problems because, well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles in the business world. So I was there. And I had this meltdown, this breakdown, where I said to myself, what the hell am I doing? Is this going to be the rest of my life? And then I remembered about 10, 12 years before, I was going, what the hell am I doing now? I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my uncle had these audio cassettes of Wayne Dyer's Manifest Your Destiny. So as I was cleaning for my family's bed and breakfast, I would listen to these cassettes while I was going from room to room and whatnot. So anyway, that inspired me to like, you know what? I love music. Let me go into the music industry. That was one of my first breakthroughs, was doing that, right? That's how I got to the music industry and then actually did quite well in the music industry until I had another breakdown where I said, that guy, Wayne Dyer, he changed my life before. Let's see what happens if I find him again. So I went looking for him, and he had this book, Power of Intention. Excuse me. So I started listening, or not listening. Actually, yeah, I did. I got the audio book, except it was, an MP3 at this point in time. And he starts going over this stuff and like how energy works and how we're all connected and how thought is an energy or a frequency, just like light's a frequency, just like sound's a frequency. And I had breakthroughs that made me go, wait a minute. That means I can do anything. Let me try this. And so I started using my thoughts to create more positive situations for myself. And wouldn't you know it, within a year, I had quit my job. I was traveling the world. I was doing all these things. And I made life work. So that was a breakthrough that led into this amazing thing that I started experiencing. And then, of course, it got to the point I was like, okay, now I have to make money. So then, I go into the online world, and let me tell you, I started from scratch to the point where I didn't even have, I could upload a video to Facebook, maybe. I tried a blog. During my travels, I'm like, let me try a travel blog. Everybody's doing that. I know people are making money doing that. And, the thoughts would run through my head, like, how do people make money doing this? So I started looking into that and started going that direction. And let me tell you, the breakdowns and breakthroughs during that, they came and went. But in order to have a breakthrough, you kind of got to have a breakdown. Now, there are other breakthroughs where there's no breakdown involved, in my experience. Where it's just kind of stuck because as they happen more and more, and they get closer together, and you get more and more success, you stop getting frustrated and angry by them. What ends up starting to happen, you're like, okay, this stuff always works out. So let me just back up for a second and relax. Take a moment to myself. Take a day. Go to the beach or something. And then once you stop thinking about it, all of a sudden, here comes another breakthrough. And what you were struggling with for 5 days all of a sudden you figure something out and you go to do that one thing that took you 5 days and got nowhere with, that one thing takes you a half hour. You know, it's like that's another kind of breakthrough. So that's a wide range of breakthrough connected with breakdowns. I'd love to hear your angle from this, Rosala.
Well, I'd have to. Can you hear me? I put on my headphones. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'd have to go off what you're talking about with with what you said. Like you broke down to discover your true potential, and you know, as far as making money. And you had that twice, and I actually have to say that that's something that actually happened to me. My wife and I, at the time, we were living in Germany because due to certain laws in the U.S. at the time, it was called DOMA. I was unable to sponsor her, so we had to live abroad in her home country, which is Germany. Now, there's nothing wrong with Germany, but I'm from California and it's cold, so I mean, we made it work. But she worked as a massage therapist, as a fitness trainer, yoga teacher. So she worked kind of during, I guess you can say, the times when people are usually off and doing that stuff. And I was working a regular sales job, so we pretty much never saw each other. Like she worked weekends, I was off on weekends. And we fought a lot because we fought a lot over money. I had to send a lot of money home to pay off student loans and bills, and we were literally living paycheck to paycheck, and we had like our worst fight ever, and we broke down. Like especially I broke down, and I couldn't sleep for 4 days because our relationship was just so rocky, and it was all because of money. I mean, the root of it was all came down to money. So that's when I got, I did exactly what Michael did, and I got online and I started looking for answers. I was like, maybe I can find a better paying job. And then I came across an ad, and it was in LinkedIn, and I'll never forget. And I was like, this isn't a job. But then I thought, well, like jobs aren't obviously offering what I'm looking for, so let me figure this out. So that program, I joined it, and I outgrew it so quickly I had to leave, after a few months. But it opened the door to what I was meant to be doing, which is I like to call it like internet networking, because it's not really network marketing and it's not really internet marketing. It's more like internet networking. And so I started doing that, and eventually I started having a different type of a breakthrough. Now, I think that the example Michael gave you, and like I just gave right now, that's a good example of a breakdown, which led into like a breakthrough. Another breakthrough that sometimes we search for is kind of like a breakthrough, like maybe you are, trying to change your mindset. Now, this example could be used for like weight loss. It could be used for, making money online. And a lot of times, when we try to do something like change something within ourselves, it's kind of like we're trying to go from point A to point B, and then there's a wall in between us. And we want to break through that wall, and we want to break through it as fast as possible. So what do? You just try to you're smashing your head against it, you're smashing your body against it, you're just doing whatever it takes. And some people, they break through that way. But a lot of times, those breakthroughs, they work, but a lot of times, I've done stuff like that where I've just done whatever it took to just break through to the other side, to get from point A to point B. And I found that when I would do that, I would find that I would be so exhausted, trying to get that breakthrough, that when it was time to go from point B to point C, I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, I'm so tired from just trying to get from point A to point B. How can my body, my mind, my spirit is so broken because, remember, I'm smashing my body against that wall. So what I discovered was, instead of, smashing and going really hard, what I would do is I would take tools, and I would better, I would develop myself. So instead of trying to smash through that wall from point B to point C, I would instead, take maybe a hammer, and I would slowly tap at that hammer, slowly, break a hole. So then I can start, building, making a hole, and then I can, build a frame, and then I can build a door. And instead of, breaking through by smashing myself into it, I'm using a tool. And that tool could be using like audio, using books, and using like things to make yourself stronger and smarter. And then suddenly, before you know it, there's this wall with a door that you built, and you can simply walk through. So you're breaking through from point B to point C, and you're able to say, okay, I'm ready for from C to D, because along our journey, it's not just from point A to point B. Our journey is going to be it's from point A to point whatever letter there's left. So I think breakthroughs can come in many different shapes and sizes. But currently, I guess you can say right now, one breakthrough that I'm working on is just trying to break through right now. Like I'm trying to break through something, and it's like, okay, like I was so exhausted from the last time I did it. It's like I have to do this a little bit smarter. Like I have to be smarter. Like the last breakthrough I had, I was like literally like going really hard, and that works. But it's like I'm trying to build. I'm not just trying to build a business or something. I'm trying to build a legacy. I'm trying to build an empire. So it's like, how can I do this so that way it's a long time sustainable empire? So I guess you can say that's something that I'm currently working on as far as like breakthroughs go, and that's just one type of breakthrough. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Michael?
Well, something you said, not that I'm looking to correct you, but you, Rosala, are not trying to do anything. You are doing it. For those of you who don't know her like I know her, she's not trying to do crap. She has got this. The thing is, she's building the door right now. Like, she's got the frame. Matter of fact, the door has been delivered and it's been inserted, right? So it's in there, but it went in one piece. So like now they're taking off the shrink wrap right now. So it's like, girl, you're not trying. What are you talking about?
Thank you.
You're welcome. But to go off of that, you're exactly right. It's about the tools. And we were having this discussion today, some friends and I, because I've actually had recently one of these moments because I've been going, and I needed to step back recently to have just a moment to myself so that I can allow things to happen versus force them. You can't force a square peg into a round hole.
Yep.
Is that how it goes, or something like that?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So and I don't even think I'm trying to do that. I think it's just mine was a little cockeyed. So I was like it's like, okay, hold on a second, and then let it slide in as opposed to force it. However, where was I going to go with this? It had to do with breakthroughs. To continue on with that, you brought up the tools, right? Here's the thing, everybody. You learn about those tools by hanging out with people who are of the same mindset.
That's it.
I'm going to repeat that one more time. You learn about the tools that allow you to have breakthroughs, that allow you to see this concrete wall and say, you know what, I can get through right here if I build a door, right? Or you could even, if you just back up, so instead of standing next to the wall and building a hole where the door is, you can go, you know what, wait a minute. I see a bunch of people over there that are all hanging out and they're doing what they want, and I know they came from the other side of this wall. How did they get there? So you back up and you go stand by those people and you go, how did you get through the door? And they go, right there, there's a door over here. You don't need to build one. You've got one right there. Right? So hanging around the right people really helps a lot too. That's why we started this hangout, is because, we met each other this way. And that's the importance of, doing hangout. We met each other on one of her hangouts, but I didn't know Rosala at this point. Yeah. I knew somebody else who invited me in, who knew Rosala. And how did I meet her? I was at an event for an opportunity that Rosala and I used to be a part of. It was a training system. It was great, and I learned a lot from it. I'm just no longer a part of it because, well, there's just reasons for it. So that being said, I was at an event where there wasn't just like 10 people. There was probably, which one did I meet her at? It would have been Chicago. There was probably 7,000 people, 6,000 to 7,000 people at this event. And I had seen Michelle online in different places, because you meet people online. That are working in groups, that are working in teams, that are working together. Like Rosala has a team that she works with. I have a team that I work with. And the funny thing is, they kind of like they interconnect. Like I said, we're not separate, or we're not together like in the same team, but we're on the same team because we still work together and we still have the same mindset because, you know, we've known each other, we're friends. So anyway, I met Michelle at an event, and then Michelle, weeks later, invites me onto a hangout, which then introduces me to Rosella. And after that hangout, Rosella's like, you and I need to be friends. And then we've stayed friends, and we've been looking for something to do together for this long, and here it is. Now we have a project together. Another in the opportunity that I'm in now, same exact thing. I went to an event, and then I went to this private training for the team I was on over there, and I sat next to this guy, and we started talking. His name is Robert, and I'm sitting next to Robert, and I was from Michigan originally. I'm in New York now, but I was from Michigan, and he was from Michigan. So it's like, oh, we're both from Michigan. So then we started talking, whatever. A couple weeks later, Robert invites me onto this hangout, right? So and so then on that hangout was this woman, Susan. And Susan is who I'm working with directly now. She's one of my business partners in the business that I'm in. And we are building an amazing team right now, which is it's with a system that's not even, it's like a brand new thing that doesn't exist, which is why I love it. So anyway, again, I was at an event, and I met this guy who invited me onto a hangout, and then I met this woman, and now, because of working with her, the breakthroughs that I'm having, the stuff that I am learning, where I had ideas, right? I'm like, I know I can build a wall in this, or build a door in this brick wall. I know I can do it, but how do I do it? And all of a sudden, I'm hanging out with people, and she's like, oh, no, honey, you don't need to do it that way. There's a door over here. Let me show you how to open it. And that's what's going on now. So I'm having breakthroughs just by hanging around people of the same mindset. Okay, which I'm going to take it one more step and then hand it back to you, Rosella. So now we've got, okay, you meet people, right? So if you're out there and you're watching this and you're feeling stuck and you're frustrated and you're looking for something different to do and you want to get a different job, but you know if you get a different job, you're going to have to start at the bottom and work your way up, or you're going to have to do all these things and jump through these hoops that are flaming with fire and over spikes to like make sure that everything goes okay, and you're still probably not going to make what you want, and you're not going to get, it's like frustrating. It's like, what do I do? Start hanging out and connecting with people such as Rosella and myself, and there's a lot of other people doing the same very things, and you will start having breakthroughs because you will realize that you can achieve anything you want if you're willing to put in the effort. Rosella?
You're hitting the nail right on the head, you know. Going off, what you said about, like, if you don't like a job. So, and I can tell you right now, I graduated college, and I've been in the workforce, I guess you can call it, after I graduated for 5 years. In 5 years, I had 5 jobs. And I guess you can say that's good because I stayed at every job for almost a year. And some people, it's funny because, we spend so much time, if you're not happy, so your first 6 months or 5 months are perfect at a job. Then for something happens, or maybe it's just me, but something happens, you're not happy. Then you start looking for something else, something better comes along, and then you're happy, and then you're not happy. And a lot of times we think it's, the job or the boss, but it could be ourselves because in our subconscious, we know what's best for us. We know that, maybe we don't want to have this job, or maybe this job we're working at doesn't pay us what we're worth, or maybe, we love the job, it just can't pay us what we're worth, but you just want to have some extra money on the side, so that's when you have to decide, okay, like, do I keep looking? Do I keep fighting against the current, or do I just decide to, find a better way to make a living online, offline, whatever you decide. I mean, there's so many different options out there for you. There's an article going around, I think it's by entrepreneur.com or Entrepreneur Magazine, where it's like 500 jobs or 500 things you can start under $5,000. Me and Michael's things, you can start under $100, and start making money. It's ridiculous, but sometimes you have to decide that it's something that's worth your time and and you have to know that you're going to start off from the bottom, just like when you start a new job. You're going to start off from the bottom, and you're going to have to work your way up. And the way you can overcome this feeling of, oh, I have to start off from the bottom, is by having these necessary tools. By tools, me and Michael mean books, audio, friends. Jim Rohn says, I think it's Jim Rohn, correct me if I'm wrong, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So look at your inner circle. Look at the people you surround yourself with, and look at them. What are they doing? Is the only thing you look forward to when you come home to watch a TV show? Are you just numbing yourself day after day? Because I did that day after day. After work, I just come home, numb myself, watch TV, and start all over again. On the weekends, numb myself. Since my wife had to work on the weekends, numb myself, go to the movies. Instead of spending my time productively. Once I changed my mindset, I started spending my time productively. Building a business online. Now, this same what me and Michael are talking about. This can be used for anything. To just, weight loss. You want to lose weight. I'm on a weight loss journey. I did the whole, I was able to work so much that I work enough so that way I can build a business so I work from home. But now I'm like, what about my health? That's important. So now I have to work from the outside in. How, for weight loss and getting healthy. And Michael, you can hop in. I know you're doing Insanity.
Yeah.
It starts off from somewhere, Insanity doesn't start off and give you the hardest courses. I mean, it's pretty hard, period, just like starting anything, it's hard.
Have you ever experienced this hell called Insanity?
I haven't done it. I know. I know me, and I gave myself my own 30-day yoga challenge, so I'm doing that right now, and it's good. I'm gonna start another challenge. Like, I'm just giving myself my own personal challenges because I know if I did Insanity, I know that I just don't want to embarrass anyone. I'd be so good at it. I'm just kidding. I don't want to do it. Not yet. I'm not. I guess you could say I'm not ready. I'm waiting for that breakthrough. I guess But you can use what me and Michael are talking about and apply it to any area in your life, whether it be home business, mindset, weight loss, and just know that if you want to be successful in your journey, you have to surround yourself around the right people. Give yourself the right tools for success. That means books, audio. And actually, Michael, before I turn it over to you, I actually wanted to read an excerpt, which I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but it went decent. I got a decent amount of shares on my profile from it. So I'm just going to read a little excerpt, and then Michael, you tell me maybe your thoughts on it. But it's called Two Wolves, and here it is. So one evening, a very wise old Indian chief was speaking to his grandson about life, telling him about the internal battle that goes on inside of all of us. He said, "Yeah,
it's a little muffled.
Okay.
The way you're maybe lift the book up a little."
Oh, you know what? I think my microphone is actually going to... Actually, my microphone probably doesn't even work.
Well, talk into the thing. Talk into it real quiet.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? It's not really... It's not very well.
Well, it's not. It's just my... You know what it is? It's a Samsung microphone, and it's an Apple Mac, so they don't like each other. So here we go. I'll try it. Let me do it. Let me go again. So one evening, can you hear me? Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. One evening, a very wise old Indian chief was speaking to his grandson about life, telling him the internal battle that goes on inside of all of us. He said, "My son, inside of us there exists a constant battle between two wolves. One wolf is very evil. He forces you to deal with anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, he said superiority again, and self-centered, destructive egos. And the other wolf is good. It helps you experience joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, faith, self-respect, and to develop a giving, constructive ego." The grandson thought about this for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" The wise old Indian chief replied, "My son, the one you feed."
I love that.
it hit me because I was like, oh my gosh, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of sums up everything, your journey, period. No matter what you're from, it just, no matter what journey you're on, you know, if you're on a journey, you are a part of me and Michael's team, you know, because you're growing. You want to grow into a better person, a better human being, and regardless if you're trying to lose weight, build a business online, you have to grow up here, you know, and you have to get your heart stronger and your soul and your spirit. You have to get that stronger, and sometimes you have to kind of trick yourself by reading books over and over again, and being around people, like Michael said, and just surrounding yourself around people and being a part of things like this hangout, you know, where all we do is just talk about you and how to better your life. So that was just an amazing story that it was just in a book. It wasn't that person's, you know, writing. They quoted it, but it's crazy how breakthroughs happen and how they can happen from simply just surrounding yourself around the right people. I like, you know, Michael, I think you think it's from surrounding yourself from the right people and tools, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, it all works together. I don't think it's one thing more than the other. It all works together, and the glue is you, whoever's watching. You know, it's you. It's I'm the glue for me. Rizala's the glue for Rizala. Like you're the glue for you. Going off of this quote you said, you know, or you just read that caption. You know, just some of the things right there. Evil is anger, self-pity, inferiority, ego. Do you know where that stuff comes from? It comes from society. It comes from the way we were conditioned. I mentioned it last week. I call it the 1950s mentality, and it's a lot older than that as well. But it's very, you do things this way, this is how it's done, and if you don't do it this way, you're going to fail, and if you fail, you're a failure, and you don't want to be a failure, so do everything this way or you're going to fail. And everybody's been ingrained to think that way. It's in our TV, it's in our commercials, it's on the radio, it's in the music, it's everywhere. Do not watch the news anymore. If you want the weather, go to the Weather Channel app on your phone or your smartphone. Get that thing, because I tell you, if you go to the Weather Channel online, you get lost in videos about hurricanes that haven't even happened. Last year there was like no hurricanes, and I was looking for the weather, right? And so I go to the Weather Channel and find everything except the weather. And what amazed me was that they were talking about hurricanes that weren't even happening. They were talking about ones that could happen. They're like, well, what if this hurricane hit this area? What if this hurricane hit this area? Like, they made up all these situations with zero hurricanes going on because there was no hurricanes to talk about. So let's make some up. Society, news, anything like that. It just makes you self-doubt yourself and think that you have to fit into this certain paradigm. And I've got news for everybody. That paradigm right now is breaking down. So you should take advantage of it. If you're feeling that breakdown in yourself, guess what? You're ready for a breakthrough. Because if you tap into yourself and you follow your joy, what makes you happy, what brings you love, if you follow what makes you giggle versus what makes you feel dark and sad, and it's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. I really want to do this. If you follow this, guess what? It might not be there tomorrow. That's called patience. I'm working on that one myself right now. But it's coming. If you focus on it and you keep going towards it, I've used the baby walking example last week. A baby doesn't just stand up on the day they pop out and start walking across the room doing a tap dance. You know, baby comes out and it can't even, like, it just kind of flops, right? And then the baby maybe after a while learns how to scooch. Still not walking, it's scooching. Okay, then the baby learns how to get on its hands and knees. Okay, and then the baby learns how to stand up by pulling itself up on the couch, and when it lets go, it falls down. and it does it again and again and again. And you're like, you can do it, right? So as a baby, everybody's like, yay, go ahead. And it's when you turn a couple years older that everybody goes, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you could never do that. Oh, you just stop dreaming. Oh, you're a big dreamer, right? So everybody thinks it because they know you can walk, but when it comes to anything else, they don't think they can do it, so why can you? So everybody's been conditioned that way, and that's the paradigm that's shifting, that's shattering, that you can now have a breakthrough. And if any of this resonates, what we're talking about with you, connect with one of us to see what kind of options you have. There are options. And yes, there's blood, sweat, and tears involved. You will cry, I swear. But those
I love you.
It's so true. Breakthroughs. And would you rather have breakdown after breakdown running on a hamster wheel doing the same thing that you're doing now? Or would you rather go, you know what, screw it, I'm going to create something different that I don't even know what it is, I'm just going to follow my joy and do that. That's a breakthrough. And you get that by hanging around people. You get that with listening to the right audios, by reading the right books. You know, it all works together. You also talked about weight loss, Rosella, and you brought up insanity. And it's funny because I've thought about this and even today as I'm like dealing with the ridiculous movements that I have to do. But 4 weeks ago when I started this stuff, I could not get through some of these full 1 minute sets that they torture you with, Shaun T. And I couldn't even get through it. And now, like, I can get through those. Some not as easily, but some, there's certain push-up exercises that go into these crazy burpee things. And I couldn't go through the whole set. I had to take several breaks, and now I can get through the whole set. That did not happen on the first day. I had to keep doing it. So it's the same thing with creating the life you desire. You have to be willing to work out, to build those muscles so that it all becomes easily. And what happens when you work out? You get sore. You tear the muscles in your body. You have breakthroughs with those muscles so they can rebuild themselves and they can become bigger. Now, I'm not a muscle necessarily person. I'm looking to lean out. That's a whole different thing. But the metaphor fits this conversation. So, that's, just going off that last thread you kind of went through with tools and people and good and evil, like, everything is possible, and that's why we're doing these hangouts. So perhaps we can inspire you to have a breakthrough, if not today, maybe next week, or maybe the following week, just by coming back and being a part of this conversation, because we're just getting started, everybody. So that's what I have for there, Rosella. Let's keep going. Fun.
I was going to say, like, you were, that was so perfect, how you tied everything in together. I was going to say, like, I have nothing left to say. That was awesome, because you tied it all in together perfectly. In regards to just, having these breakthroughs and how, like, you're going to have ups and downs, period. I don't care what you're doing. You're going to have ups and downs.
And it says, and if you're feeling like a breakdown right now, if you feel like you're going to cry because you don't know what to do and you're just sick of doing what you're already doing that you've been doing, guess what? You're here watching this video for a reason, and one of us resonates with you, and you can connect with us. And we can chat. And if not, what we're working with fits with you is all your thing. Because guess what? There's other things, and we know what they are, and we know who to connect you with in that. If you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't just work separately. We work with other people too. And so it's just connecting with people who are just a few steps ahead or a lot of steps ahead. And just in the breakthrough of life. Yeah. I mean, really, I think that's what it comes down to. Everybody right now has the ability to tap into a breakthrough that changes their life for the rest of their life, if they allow it.
That was perfect. This is probably this is our second hangout. But I was gonna say, this is the best hangout we've ever had. So, but
So,
you're on a roll. Like, we should stop so that way.
so that we don't keep, kicking the horse. Okay,
I know.
that being said, let's close it out.
Let's close it out. So, final thoughts. I just think, when you start when you start getting into a place where you feel like there's nothing left, or there's no one left, or you're stuck. That's a good sign for you to start looking and start finding and start discovering and start deciding to take action to change your life. Because that you'll from that point on, your survival mechanism will kick in, and you'll be able to start doing things you didn't even know you could do. Because guess what? We all have greatness inside of us. It's not about building greatness; it's about discovering your greatness. So that's my final thoughts. Michael, do you have anything left to say?
I said a whole bunch of things. The only thing that I will just remind everybody, if you're looking for something to listen to or something to read, I'm not a big reader. I have to force myself through it, so I listen. Okay, so I go to iTunes or Audible. Get the book, The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. Start there. If you're looking for something, that is what changed my life completely. That was the catalyst for everything. So that would be my only my only last thing to say is get that book, The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. And if you're not a reader, get the audiobook, listen to it, because he reads.
Yeah, he's amazing. I have to highly recommend that book myself. So, thank you, everyone. We will be doing these live Rainbow Hangouts. Hopefully, every Thursday, if something comes up, we'll be sure to let everyone know. But usually around the same time, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Rosala Carrington.
And I am Michael Leedy.
And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Ciao.